You get to a point where you're tired of pretending. You're tired of doing mental gymnastics to go to a social function or to go to work. And you really want to just relax and go and enjoy yourself. One of the things we don't talk about when it comes to burnout is that some of us are burned out because we are constantly pretending like everything is okay. We are constantly saying that we got it, we could do it. We're taking on another task after another task after another task. But sometimes you get to a point where you're tired of pretending. You're tired of doing mental gymnastics to go to a social function or to go to work. And you really want to just relax and go and enjoy yourself. But you can't because you're all in your head, overworked, and emotionally unavailable. I am Tara Burns, a licensed clinical social worker and therapist. And on this episode, we're going to talk about healing from burnout that is due to pretending like your feelings aren't there. So let's start with emotional overwork. When you don't allow yourself to emotionally feel, and you are constantly not just throwing it out under a rug, but actually ignoring it because sometimes you're still feeling it in your body. That's why your back hurt. That's why your stomach is tight. That's why you have these somatic symptoms in your body because the feeling is still there, but you're not allowing it to pass by simply feeling it. It's not necessarily that you have to do something with it. Sometimes it's just sitting in it until it passes, not dwelling in it, not moping around, not allowing it to move you into a state of depression or a state of anxiety, but allowing it to pass through by really trying to figure out why you're feeling what you're feeling, how you're feeling what you're feeling. Sometimes a lot of us will like to say, oh, we're burnt out. We just need to rest. But rest doesn't fix emotionally exhaustion. Like if you're exhausted emotionally, rest doesn't fix that. And that's why some of us, even when we get rest, we still feel burned out. We still feel tired. We still feel drained because we're trying to use a strategy of rest physically that doesn't work if you are emotionally and mentally tired and drained. So, what do you do if you are emotionally and mentally drained? Sometimes you have to let go of the things that you're doing, the people that you are connected to. Sometimes you have to take individuals in doses to say, I don't have the capacity to hold what you need me to hold today. And you have to be okay with them being disappointed in that because they probably will. They might trip you, but you have to be okay with giving yourself your needs. And you want to say be a little selfish, sure, be a little selfish, but that is also another way of honoring yourself and giving yourself self care. Emotionally and mentally, when you are drained in those two areas, self care, not just the bubble baths, not going to another nail appointment, not a massage, sometimes that can be counterproductive when you are emotionally and mentally drained because your time matters. Your time is what you need to fuel back up. Sometimes you need to say no to people. Sometimes you need to understand that that no is not you being mean, but that no is necessary in order for you to recharge emotionally, to recharge mentally. Sometimes you may just need to go on a hike. Sometimes you may just need to not think about anything. Like today on my to do list, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to carry anyone, especially when you're in leadership roles. It's hard to put down people when they're depending on you. But sometimes you need that space to say, I'm going to focus on me today. And I'm going to focus on my emotions and handle what I need to handle. As long as the building not burning down, it should all be good, right? Judgment, inclusivity, and being outcasted. Because a lot of times when you allow yourself to burn out, when you feel like you have to continue to show up for everyone emotionally and mentally, what you are really running from is people judging you. What you are really running from is feeling like you're not included, feeling like people will stop telling you stuff or sharing things with you because you didn't show up for them that one time. Feeling outcasted or like your character is now in question or threatened because you didn't show up that one time. So what do? In spite of being tired, you continue to show up, you push through, you persevere, you be resilient. But being resilient, true resiliency, is not about abandoning and neglecting yourself. It's not about just honoring everybody else and being there for everyone else except for you. A part of it is stewardship, right? Burnout happens when you don't allow yourself to steward your emotions, your temple, your body, and your mental space. I think a lot of times, especially when we talk about it in church and stewardship, we look at stewardship as just being a good steward of your finances, tithing to the church, giving to different ministries or missions, making sure you give to the poor, the needy, those type of things is what we look at in stewardship. But when we really look at what God called us to in Genesis and how we were called to take care of everything left on earth, it's not just externally, it's also internally. That our bodies and ourselves, we were also left on earth. So a part of that stewardship, a part of that commandment is to also steward your inner being, your temple, and yourself. And that's spiritually, that's mentally, that's emotionally, and even physically, right? And so a lot of times, if you leave yourself out of that equation of who needs to be taken care of, you will be there for everyone else and everything else, joining every ministry, trying to handle every task that needs a body because you don't understand totally how expand how broad stewardship is when it comes to, especially being a Christian, when it comes to your livelihood. And so sometimes I don't want to blame the church, but I'll say the church sometimes will preach on giving, 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 and pouring, 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 but then the conversation around pouring back into yourself and being filled back up is not often taught. And so when we go into the places that's outside of the church, you are also giving, 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 pouring, 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 to the point where you are doing it. Sometimes I have seen in a perfectionistic way where even in your pouring and giving and doing, it has to be perfect in order for you to be the perfect good Christian. Church has a lot to do with burnout when it comes to emotionally and mentally and how we can not honor or not listen to our body when we are feeling what we are feeling. I want to shift to another area, and this is called workplace betrayal trauma that I have seen a lot of high achievers experience, which can also cause burnout. Even when you move to another area of another department or another area in your field, based on how you were treated prior, sometimes you carry that with you. Because while you move positions, while you change areas, those wounds, those places where you refuse to heal, those places where you refuse to admit is hurting, the people that you refuse to admit has hurted you or did hurt you, you're carrying those wounds and those things, those thoughts, those sayings with you. And so a lot of times we'll go into new areas and we'll try to outperform our past, outperform our trauma. But the reality is you can't outperform your trauma. You have to deal and face and heal and acknowledge what you are carrying in order to put it down. Because sometimes we don't even know what we're carrying, right? because we're not in tune. We're just trying to go, 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 go and do, 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 do. And then when we're burnt out, we're confused, or we have this level of resentment towards other people for giving us all these tasks that we agreed to do. Then when it comes to being pushed in these different areas, we become scareful. We don't want to do certain things. We don't want to lead. We don't want to speak. We're afraid of doing certain things because of our past, because of our experiences, because we never healed. And so we're burned out, we're tired, we're drained, we're fighting ourselves to get to all these different things and do all these different things because we're not allowing ourselves to be exclusively who we are, including in healing. Because sometimes being exclusively you changes in seasons, it changes in where you're going or what you're doing. And while at your core, you're not changing, right? But sometimes you have to understand that the season that you in may call for you to do something differently than the season before. And a lot of us get into this trap where we want to play it safe. We want to continue to operate in a way where we know we will be seen, valued, honored, respected, even if it's at a detriment, at our detriment. We will consistently continue to do that. Burnout is sometimes not what other people are doing, but what we are allowing. Burnout is sometimes how we are choosing to show out, to show up. Burnout sometimes is not necessarily a workplace environment issue, but is actually what we have begun to believe that how we need to show up or what we need to do to show up. Because a lot of things, especially when we are high achievers, we put these high standards and high expectations on ourselves. Nobody asked us to do all these things. We feel like we have to do it, or we're going to be seen as less than. We're going to be seen as not good enough. We're going to be seen as someone that can't handle the different roles that they were given. When there are numerous of other people who do just enough just to get by. And what you do in one day, matter of fact, what you do in 1 hour may take somebody a whole day or a week to do. Yet you're beating yourself up, burning yourself out because you want to be seen as one that is competent, even though you're already showing that. The last layer I want to add to this is I know it comes with being a minority. Um, I'll speak for me being African American because back to that saying of working twice as hard, but also knowing that certain positions we are seen or we feel like we need to be seen as being grateful. And in order to be grateful for the opportunities that we have received, then we need to constantly do, constantly work, and constantly make whomever opened that door for us, the opportunity for us, make them happy. It's almost as if we owe them our life, our time, our energy, our emotions, our mental health, our peace. And so we would give those things up so that other people will know I am grateful to be here. I am honored to be here. I do appreciate the work. We will accept mistreatment from people who were supposed to mentor us, who were supposed to empower us. We will accept people doing us wrong and burn ourselves out emotionally because we want them to know that we're here and we will do whatever you need to do because you gave us this opportunity. I think blind loyalty sometimes is a not only is it a distraction, but it is detrimental to our growth because I could be grateful for you for giving me the opportunity and also understand that I don't constantly owe you for life, nor am I going to tolerate your mistreatment. Burnout is something that requires you to understand that it is okay not only to rest, but it is okay to feel your feelings. It is okay to be vulnerable. It is okay to show up in spaces and allow people to love on you, allow people to care about you, and allow people to be compassionate and to show you grace. When we are thinking about burnout and how we are showing up and overextending ourselves, we have to also ask ourselves, are there wounds within us that we always wanted to feel seen, always wanted to feel heard, validated, whatever the case is, that we never received? And now, even though I'm burning myself out, even though I'm killing myself, I'm finally receiving that. If the answer is yes, if you can figure that out, then you can really start to dig deep and figure out, okay, how can I get this same result, but do it in a way where it is genuine, where it's authentic, where I'm not killing myself, I'm not burning myself out, and people see my value and worth in spite of me constantly being on, in spite of me constantly doing. Because the reality is, if you don't allow yourself to be exclusively you, no one else will allow you to be exclusively you. I am Tiara Burns, and you have just watched Exclusively You podcast. Like, share, comment, subscribe on YouTube. A new episode will be uploaded every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on YouTube and 6 a.m. on Wednesday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartMusic. Have a great week.